What's going on, you guys? It's your Huggable Hipster here, and welcome back to The Casual Nerd. Today I want to say blessed, because that is actually how I feel right now, to have you on the show. Riana, welcome on in. She is D&R and CEO of a media consulting firm, if I'm correctly saying that. And she's also the co-host for the Danny and Riana show. She worked on Xbox, and you might have seen her work on Ori and the Blind Forest and the Will of the Wisps. Congratulations on all the work you've been able to do, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, it's funny to hear my part of my resume read out loud like that. It sounds a little all over the place, but yeah, when you've been in gaming for 10 years, you collect some trophies, and Ori is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was a really fun game to go through. And as I was saying, actually, before we started the podcast, it was one of the first game I played on the Xbox One when I got it back in 2016. So it was a wonderful game to go through. Thank you for your work on that, truly.
Well, I mean, it's absolutely a team effort. I did a very small part. And the people over at Moon Studios have something very special, for sure.
Regarding Ori and the Blind Forest and the Will of the Wisps, when it came down to what was it that you did for those games that you can share?
Yeah, so on Will of the Wisps, I was a product marketer. So I worked with the production and publishing team over at Xbox, and what we do is product marketing as we manage the calendar. So everything from all of the different influencer packets that we sent out, like the Ori onesie, which I was very excited to send out to a bunch of people, all the way down to preview and hands-on events, which a lot of folks were able to attend. And for Will of the Wisps, we actually have a live owl at our preview event that people got to pet and pose with. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. The marketing side of video games has been a fantastic experience, and it's one of my favorite things to do.
That's absolutely incredible. It gotta be so rewarding to be able to see everyone just getting to play it and getting to experience it. I know that I had to have the tissue box handy for that one.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's very opening, and I won't spoil it, even though it's a very old game. For anybody who hasn't experienced it, I mean, Ori is known for tugging at the heartstrings, but also being an incredibly competent platformer. So, it's fun that it can be effective in so many different ways, because games can be so many things, and the feels are definitely wrapped up in all of that.
Oh, yeah. It was actually really interesting, because whenever I did a playthrough of Will of the Wisps, I actually started bawling, crying on camera. And I was like, guys, I'm so sorry, but this is such a good game.
I mean, it's so effective, right? And one of the amazing things about video games as a storytelling medium, I mean, we're seeing a lot of very successful game adaptations into other media. Comics have always been, and motion comics have always been a really nice parallel. We're seeing really impressive live action, like The Last of Us, and more recently Fallout, which I would love to talk about. But it's also so impactful and so deeply resonant when you are the one controlling the character and the story. And that scene, which I'm sure is the one that you're talking about, when you're moving the controller, but your character doesn't keep moving at the same pace, and you realize it's because the energy is draining and you can't keep up anymore with your will. It's like, it really does get you. It's such a different lever to pull for evoking emotion from the person who's experiencing your art, and it's why, out of all of the different storytelling mediums, video games are my absolute favorite, and why I'm in this industry, because I love telling stories. And what better way than to put somebody in the middle of it and help them become one of the authors,
Exactly. And that's the thing that I think I treasure the most about video games, is whenever, even when you get a game like Venba, you see that storytelling medium, and you see a story that is brought to life through someone's own experiences and their own lens and the way they experience life. So I think that's just absolutely incredible.
It is. It really is something special to see. And shout out to Venba. We were talking about all the awards Venba has been getting, including one at the Spawnies, or two at the Spawnies, which I co-host with Khalif Adams from Spot on Me. And the audience just loves that game. And it's because even if you're not from, Southeast Asian culture, which Venba is featuring, you feel that same emotion of being in a place where you're not sure of yourself. We all know what imposter syndrome is by now. And
Yeah.
really struggling to hold on to the things that anchor you. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful story and a really good puzzle game, which I also love.
Oh yeah, no, puzzle games actually like strike such a chord with me because even when I played Uncharted, which I played for the first time last year, it was one of those puzzle games of where you could actually decide how difficult you wanted the puzzles to be, and I loved that because not too many people are going to enjoy a puzzle aspect to a game, but I feel like certain games that understand the player better, they're like, okay, we can like cater to what they want. I feel like that's really like accessibility wise, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I mean, I also sadistically really love a challenging puzzle as well. Like Cube 2, and it's such a deep cut, is one of my favorite games. Obviously, the list is long, but Cube 2 in particular, I trophy hunted in that one. I was like, I need to get all of the achievements in this game. I need to know every puzzle in and out. I need to do them over and over again. And I like started looking up guides and like getting into the lore, and only a game like Cube 2 could really pull me into the story behind like, it's a bunch of boxes you're throwing and shit. I don't know.
You see that in that case, you would absolutely love Souls games.
Well, I've heard that they feel like puzzle games, but I mean, I don't know. My brain just isn't as fast. Like the twitch skills required for those. I am constantly missing the frames when I'm supposed to be moving and dodging. Like they'll swing at me and be like, oh, I should have moved. Like, I just start
that's the way I was in Sekiro. Oh my God.
Yeah, my brain isn't quite as snappy, but I can do a slow puzzle. Tetris is like the right speed for me.
Tetris. I don't know what it is, but like whenever I hear about Tetris, I always just think of the music instantly because that's one thing that is memorable for me about Tetris. When I was a kid, I would just hear the music that when my dad was playing it, and it's just like that. And Resident Evil, oddly enough, because that was the first video game I ever played.
Wait, Resident Evil was your first game?
When I was, I think, 10 or 11 years old, my dad got me a GameCube for my birthday. And it was something where, like, I'd never seen gaming before that. I was just like, oh, okay, this is really cool looking. Like, I'd seen, like, Pong, I think, or Pac-Man. But my first, like, real game experience was with the remake of Resident Evil in 2002.
Oh my gosh, what an introduction.
Yeah, I had to hand the game back to my dad at one point. Funny story, because I was like, Dad, I'm kind of scared of this. Can I have it back? And then a week later, I was like, I need to finish this. Can I please have it back?
Yeah, I haven't played through the whole thing. I've watched it like this because I'm not into the scary stuff.
Yeah, it's weirdly enough, because I always say that, like, jokingly, I'm a masochist, but I kind of, like, tricked myself into believing it somewhat because I see all the Souls games and I see how much I love scary games and how desensitized I've become to them. So it's like, oh, okay, you know what? It's just my brand at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're entertaining an audience, you need to be experiencing something more than just staring at a screen blankly. So
yeah,
that
exactly.
fits. That makes perfect sense.
No, just imagine during a jump scare, it's just like, oh, okay, that was cool.
Yeah, not the same watchability factor.
Oh man, but to get into one of our first topics, actually, you discussed it before, and it's one of the things that I am addicted to now, Fallout, the TV show.
Yes,
so
let's get into it.
Excited to talk about that because right now I'm on the second episode and I'm trying to space it apart because I'm doing a review for each episode. So I remember distinctly telling myself, like, no, I'm not going to binge it. I'm not going to binge it. It's going to be tempting, but no.
I don't know how you were managing to not binge it because so Danny, my husband, had screeners. So we had the season early, and every night we would start watching and we would get to the end of the episode and look at the clock and look at each other and then look at a baby monitor and be like, can we do another one, please? Because it's so watchable and so good. And at the end of each episode, you have so many questions and so many theories. And you're like, I just need to see what happens with X, or I need to see where they go over here. And it's hard to stop.
Yeah, it really is, especially with the first episode. I feel like that one was and I say this not to be dramatic, but probably one of the best moments in television when you see the beginning. And just a caution for you guys, it is minimal spoilers because the show is currently out, especially for the first episode. So you have been warned for this section. When they see the explosion and the look on their face, that is by far, I think, one of the best moments in television, besides The Sopranos. Honestly,
like I had chills, and I've seen that scene 3 times now, but it's it's one of those moments where, of course, if you don't know, the show Fallout is about the nuclear death of the planet, essentially. There's a war, many bombs drop, the planet is irradiated, everybody goes either underground or survives on the surface to different extent. And that moment, it's chills. Like it's silent. All you feel is like the heat that you can see reflected on the characters' faces, and the panic start to set in as, you know, the moments in slow motion, they realize what's going on, what's about to happen. You see the immediate breakdown of society and civility. Like people immediately turn on each other and start running like rabid animals. And you know, there are parents and children, which are very, very sensitive topics for me right now. It's just, if this show doesn't get at least nominated for an Emmy, I would be completely aghast because it is just so effective. It's really well done. The team at Amazon Studios, and, you know, especially Jonah, like the EPs, that they clearly care about this story so much. And it was really great. We were at the at the premiere earlier this week, and all of the producers and directors were there, and they were explaining that throughout the production they had somebody from Bethesda on set, not to guide the story, but to be there as sort of, you know, a lore master, a guiding hand, and saying like, oh, you know, I don't want to give spoilers. I'll say something fake. If you have a food case, this is the type of food that would be in it. Here are the labels. Here are the logos. Like, so they would always use things directly from the game and directly from the art assets in the game. So it really does feel like you're in Fallout, but if you're completely ignorant of the games, it is still an incredible story. Like, my mom is watching it.
Oh, wow.
And my mom is sort of a gamer, but she is definitely not a Fallout gamer. She's more like a choose your own adventure gamer. And she's loving this show. And it's just so interesting to see how well a video game story and a video game world can translate to live action when it's done right. Because we've seen it done wrong so many times. Well, and I'm just glad that the medium is growing up to the point where it can, you know, branch out in this way and be effective and successful.
This is so well put, because I completely agree in the fact of where we've seen it go wrong with Resident Evil, and we've seen it go wrong in so many instances of where I kind of was becoming jaded a little bit when it came to these, you know, live action reboots, because it's like, okay, what are they going to do now? But for me, this was the best one since Silent Hill. And Silent Hill wasn't great by any means, but it was a true 2-game story in as far as they could at the time. So I feel like, especially even with the ending that they did for the first episode, seeing the ghoul for the first time and seeing how it all the way references back to the beginning of the episode, I feel like that was probably some of the best storytelling I've seen in a TV show. And it was just so well done. Like, even with the games, if people are Fallout fans, they are going to notice so many callbacks to Fallout 3, New Vegas, Fallout 76, even Fallout 4 with the opening title sequence. And, you know, it's interesting that I actually like the show as much as I do so far, because for people who have been watching me for a while, you guys know that I did not like Fallout 3 at all whenever I first played it. I was so heavily like, oh, this isn't for me. What do I do now? I'm not a Fallout fan. And then I went and I played New Vegas. I fell in love. I fell in love with the franchise entirely. And that's what made me go back to play the very first Fallout game, a little bit of it, Fallout 2, and a little bit of Fallout 4. Fallout 4, unfortunately, I couldn't finish because of the bugs.
Oh.
So, but yeah, it's a really interesting story. And I feel like what's cool about this now is that so many new fans and so many new people who have never played the Fallout games are going to now try them.
Yeah, it's really funny because one of the things that Danny mentioned in his interviews with the cast and crew is that when he saw the show, it made him want to go play the games. And I'm feeling that itch too. So I'm not a huge Fallout player. I've played some here. I think the game I've played the most is probably Fallout Shelter.
Oh, nice.
Honestly, but I love the world building. I love the storytelling. And it's fascinating how watching the show, you see so many of the, I don't want to say debris, but you see sort of the layer of pollen that is left across the story, but then you're wondering like, okay, well, what flowers did this come from? Like you see like breadcrumb trails that lead to so many stories. Like if you know about Fallout, you know there are many vaults. Obviously, there are more than one. Our lead character comes from Vault 33. There are over 100 vaults, and each one of them has some really interesting stuff going on. Most of it pretty dark, and it makes you so curious to keep digging and digging and learning more and more. And I know there's so much story in the games that you can uncover through, you know, looking at different terminals or just talking to different NPCs or, you know, picking up different things from environmental storytelling. So it's really starting to make me itch for more. And ooh, I'm so glad there's a season 2 coming.
I'm so excited because they're like, we know about Fallout 33, Vault 33 within the actual games, but it's really cool because I know that Todd Howard said that this is an extension of what the Fallout games are. So it's kind of like you're going what into the next game would be, to paraphrase, which I think is really cool mechanic to bring to it. You know, I know like right now this is basically going to be like a Fallout podcast, you know, but it's just so awesome to talk about because you see the creative ingenuity that a lot of people bring. And a lot of people, you know, poke fun at Todd and they poke fun at the entire world because it's, you know, they say Bugthesda and it just works. But it literally does because the bugs in a lot of games are what bring characteristics of different personalities to what the games are. Like Blood Rain, for example. That game is buggy as hell. It's old, but it has a charm to it. The same with the Fallout games.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes bugs are features, right? Like, there's my favorite, absolute favorite, I wouldn't say necessarily bug, but exploit is in Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2. There's a mechanic where you and your co-op player teammates can challenge each other to a duel, and whoever loses that duel can, you know, essentially lose whatever it is they wagered when you guys entered the fight. So the way that my friends and I figured out this feature is you would wager, let's say, a super cool gun because the loot is exclusive to each individual player. So there's a super cool gun that I have. I wager it. My friend wagers a shield. And then we start our duel. But before we actually fight, I drop it on the ground. And then we fight and I lose. Or no, we fight and I win. And then I get the winnings, right? I get to take my gun back from the wager table. But then there's also a copy of it on the ground.
Oh no!
Still.
Oh my god!
And you can really infinitely dupe any item that is droppable in Borderlands 2 because, you know, they just left that exploit in there. Like they're like, you know what? It's not a competitive game. Who fucking cares? Like let's just let them enjoy this bug. It's so much fun.
Absolutely. That, you know what? That kind of reminds me of the bug that happened in the original GameCube version before they did the patch for Resident Evil 1 Remake, of where you had unlimited ammo in your chest. If you went in and you copied over with just like one piece of ammo from whatever ammo it is you want to copy over, you close off the game, you go back in, and then you open it up and you have unlimited ammo of that type.
It's so good. It's so good. Like,
great.
Oh, I love it.
It's great.
I love exploits in non-competitive games.
Yeah, no, I love whenever, like, especially older games do that. I know Blood Rain had literally a section that you could type in any sort of cheat that you wanted, and you could have God mode, you could have unlimited ammo mode. It was chef's kiss. It was wonderful. I miss the early 2000s.
I mean, 100%. As somebody who plays a lot of games before release, so I am giving God mode for review purposes or feedback purposes. It's nice when it makes it to the final copy. You can just like, I mean, it's tailoring your experience, right? Like something we make fun of on What's Good Games, which is another show that I co-host, is, you know, we like baby ass baby mode. Like there's sometimes when I don't want to beat my head against a wall in order to get through what the people who made this game had to say, right? I want to see the story. I want to see the fights. I want to see environments. I want to see the different NPCs and world building, and maybe this boss is just too hard and I don't have the time. So
Exactly. And that's
let me put on
valid.
Gunma for a few minutes. It's, let me just fly around the environment and see where all the invisible walls are. No big deal.
No, yeah, exactly. And then, it's so funny that you bring that up because I played the very first Halo game on my channel last year, and I still get comments of people saying, you should play it on harder mode. It's like, maybe I don't want to, and I just want to experience the world.
It's sometimes games are too hard. I mean, it is what it is.
That's and that's a lot of the feedback that I get for Souls games, and they're just like, we need an environmental mode or like a story based mode for this game because the world is beautiful, but I don't want to get killed by everything all at once all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, there's something to be said for the developer having a point of view in that conversation and having a voice in that argument, and they should make the game that they want to make. They absolutely should. Just realize less people will enjoy it. So if that's what you are going for, then only people who can beat all of the elder gods deserve to see it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely interesting because that's even another entire conversation that we could, get into for that sort of thing. I feel like it's definitely really awesome to see how developers create the games that they want to make, and they're just like, no, I want to make this game the way I want to make it. I'm just like, okay. No, I'm not arguing that. That's cool. Sure. But sometimes it's just like, it gets really interesting because like there was one game that I cannot finish for some reason is it's the philosophical game, Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that game is meant to be finished. That's definitely beating your head against the wall as gameplay.
Yeah.
One step forward and 1,000 steps back.
It's one of those philosophical games of where everything and every piece that he did had a meaning, but it's one of those, like you were saying, like it's meant for a certain audience, and I'm just not that audience.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's easy for me to shake my head and laugh at it because I'm a marketer, right? Like, my job is usually to come in and get as many people as possible interested in the thing I'm working with because I like sharing things. I like sharing stories. So it comes from a genuine place. But it's so bizarre to me when someone makes art and they don't want it to be for people. They want it to be for only a handful of folks. I'm like, that's a lot of effort for not a lot of people to share and talk about it, but it is their prerogative and they can make the game they want to make. It's kind of like I anticipate this in my near future, having a baby and soon to be toddler, where it's like, well, if you want to, leave the snot all over your face, fine. It's weird. I wouldn't make that choice. A lot of people aren't going to like it, but that's what you want to do. You go for it. I'd rather you wiped your nose, but okay, I'm not going to fight you.
You need to learn from experience.
It's going to dry up and itch, but okay, do your thing, girl.
I feel like that should be like something on a pillow. It's going to dry up and itch, Riana 2024.
I mean, you should probably wipe bodily fluids off your body. I don't know. My advice.
Oh,
what do I know?
That's, I feel like we need to tell a lot of the people on Twitter that just wipe bodily fluids off of your face, please.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people on Twitter who need that instruction.
Oh my gosh. No, but actually it's to go on to one of the next topics I wanted to discuss, because we do have Hellblade coming out next month and I'm very excited about this. What are your anticipated games? I don't know if it's including Hellblade. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if you played the first game or not, but like, give me some of the tea on like what games you're looking forward to for this upcoming.
I'm pulling up my list because there's so much. Hellblade is incredible, absolutely gorgeous, storytelling amazing. From what I hear, it's a scary game, so I haven't played it, but I got a list here. Some of these are coming this year, some coming very soon, others don't have dates. In no particular order, Tales of Kinzera Zao. I'm actually playing that right now. Very excited for that release. Crazy Taxi coming back from Sega. They announced that bundle recently, not bundle, but they announced a slate of games that they're reintroducing. And Crazy Taxi is just one of my favorite games. It was what I played the most by far on my Dreamcast, and I literally remember the exact route and the exact people I would pick up for my perfect optimal run. And that game just has a special place in my heart from my childhood. And every time I think about, like, I'm going to say something and I'm like, yeah, I always end up going, yeah.
Love it.
Because music's so fucking good. What else is on here? Blade from Arcane is absolutely on here.
Excited about that game.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even need to see that teaser. I'm like, I'm already on board. The Altars, and this is, I think is going to be in Steam Early Access if it isn't already. It's a game where, similar to Fallout, it feels very, in a closed environment, human experiment type of vibe and genre. And you're the lead character, you have clones of yourselves, which are called altars, and each one of them has something different in their life that has caused them to change personality, abilities, physical attributes, and you have a collection of these altars, and you're working with them to run this base, complete tasks, reach your goals. And so it's just interesting. It's like, if I were with, 30 versions of myself, how would we work together? Who would be the leader?
Oh, wow.
What kind of power struggles would there be? Like, well, maybe some of them aren't as motivated as others. Like, what jobs would suit each one of them? It's just such an interesting thought experiment.
Yeah.
To your point about philosophical games. So that one looks really cool and really interesting. Dustborn looked kind of interesting. My notes that I wrote for Dustborn was beating the hell out of robots with a baseball bat and singing songs and playing D&D with your friends.
I love that though.
So that sounds great. That one's August this year. Let's see. A Void Rot is on my list. No Rest for the Wicked from Moon Studios. Shout out to Moon. Of course. Anything Moon does, I'm going to be on board for. That looks really interesting. I've heard the combat's really good. Project Mango. What is that?
I saw actually that Paris was playing some of No Rest for the Wicked, and it made me kind of have some FOMO because it looks so good.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, it looks really good. So Project Mango is a working title. They had an announcement trailer a few weeks ago, but it's, excuse me. I want to read this line here. I love reading marketing copy because, somebody wrote that and they worked hard on it. Okay. The secret is out. Our new game has a working title, Mango. It's a result of our collaboration of two people. And they set off for new horizons and take you into a new world inspired by the coziness and charm of Dorf Romantic, spiced with the sharp-witted humor and scientific curiosity of Kurzgesagt. It's German words. It says, are you ready to immerse yourself in a gaming experience that will not only captivate you, but also make you wonder and laugh?
That sounds so cute.
Like a good pitch. I'm in. What else do we got? The Constructors. This is Q2 from Frozen District. It's this PC game. Essentially, you are playing SimCity, but you actually have like the construction people as like part of the management that you do. So you're actually watching the little people like unfold the plans and like point and like send their not troops, but send their workers to. I mean, it feels like it's pulled from a top-down strategy game, but yeah, it's you just like point and they start building stuff, and I love city builders, and City Skylines 2 was disappointing for me, sadly. So hopefully this one will redeem the genre for me this year. But yeah, those are the big ones on my list. There's a lot that are further out, and a few that I know that are coming that I can't talk about, but those are definitely the highlights.
That's really awesome. Yeah, no, there are a lot of good ones in there, especially the one I'm most excited about from what you mentioned is Altars, because for those of you who don't know who are listening, I have a degree in psychology, and I love anything that has to do with psychology and understanding the human mind. That game is like going to be butter for my brain.
So wait, what did you think of Returnal?
Oh, I love that game so much. It has a special place in my heart because the story and the psychology, just all the like the little lore horror bits when you go into the houses, it was absolutely incredible. I loved it. Plus the bosses. Oh my God, the bosses were absolutely stunning. Oh my gosh. Oh.
I definitely watched that game and not played it. But yeah, I thought it was fascinating. The psychology of it specifically, is really, really cool. There's a lot of really fun fun, interesting things that devs and storytellers have been able to do with the conceit of a person moving through worlds of their own accord and, with their own thoughts and collective experiences that I just love seeing that grow up. You know what I mean? Like the concepts get deeper and deeper, more and more complicated and expansive.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And the thing about storytelling is that a lot of the developers will use things from their own lives and implement it into what the stories are. And I love seeing that we're kind of pushing more so the envelope of what storytelling is and doing it in a way that's not necessarily triggering in a bad way, but triggering mentally in like an educational way for people to understand stories better.
Absolutely. One that comes to mind that really excelled at this was Psychonauts 2.
Oh, nice.
In particular. Yeah. I'll spoil it. It doesn't matter.
Spoiler
because it's, well, I mean, it's not going to like impact the way that you play the game. One of the moments that really like, oh my gosh, this is something special. That alarm went off in my head for me was when you're going into the mind of somebody who trained in medical school but became addicted to gambling. And at first, when you're going into their mind before the gambling addiction, you see their memories and you're sort of like running through the history highlights of their time in school and getting their first job and all this stuff. And then you return to their mind after the gambling addiction takes hold of them. And there are things like, instead of an X-ray on a screen, it's a Queen of Hearts or something. Or instead of instead of seeing just an ambulance with the doors open, it looks like it's filled with slot machines or something. It's so interesting how now this addiction has taken over all the core of who they are, and it's represented visually in the assets and in the environments you're moving through. I'm like, oh, this is so smart. Like, it's just so well done. Such a cool game. Such a cool game.
See, that makes me want to play it because I never got a chance to play the first one or the second one before. So that right there is something unique.
Oh gosh, yeah, it is. It's just an interesting way that it's interesting visual representation of how your experiences color your internal visualization of the world, right? Like they literally change the makeup of your memories, like if there's something that you're holding deep inside and it's under lock and key, it's literally in a safe in the game. Like there's just such good representation of like how it feels to go into your mind space, and the way they visually represented a panic attack literally made me have a panic attack because it was so accurate, like in a good way. I don't know if there's it was a good panic attack.
Oh gosh.
Because it was very authentic emotion, right? It really evoked a lot from me, and it was a cathartic experience playing that game, and also hilarious and fun and so cute. And I don't know, it was just like, it's almost like when you see those videos of people sitting in like a puddle of puppies, but for your mind.
I love that so much, and that's actually kind of what to your point of being cathartic, what Hellblade did for me, while I don't have schizophrenia, it was something really interesting to go through, of where you were hearing the, people who have schizophrenia said like the voices that you heard in the game were probably the most accurate representation of what it's like to have schizophrenia. And hearing those voices, hearing like the negative self-talk back and forth, and hearing that, it was like, oh my God, it hit so close to home, because when you have that throughout your mind, or you have the imposter syndrome that is occurring constantly, it becomes this kind of like weighted down concept that goes throughout your mind 24/7, and they captured that absolutely beautifully. And then you just like, the ending of the game is just bawling my eyes out, of course.
Yeah, man, games, man, they're such a special storytelling vehicle.
Oh, and speaking of Hellblade, shout out to Danny and his friend Ben, I want to say. I'm going to feel like an asshole if I forget his name.
Yes, Ben Kenobi.
Yes, he made a set of coins that are going to be coming out for Hellblade Senua Saga 2, and I won one of the coins last night.
Congratulations. I didn't know that. That's so cool.
Yeah, and I saw the tag in my mentions, and I was like, I don't normally win these things. Wait a second, am I getting punked? Where's Ashton Kutcher? So that was really cool. Shout out to you guys for making the coins and doing the awesome stuff. It's really cool.
It is. Yeah, Ben's work is fantastic. Let me find his exact handle so everybody can shout him out on Twitter. And Ben, I had the pleasure of meeting Ben Kenobi, BENKENOBI 2020 on Twitter. Had the pleasure of meeting him at the after the Xbox Fan Fest event 2 years ago, I want to say. And just the loveliest human being, and just so excited to share his work and to vibe with people and nerd out about games, and just like a great person. So shout out to Ben.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love hearing awesome things about awesome people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the next topics that I want to go into is your podcast with Danny, to show that a little love, because I saw one of the first episodes and I saw that you guys had a specific episode about talking about the games that made you guys and the games that you grew up with. And I want to speak a little bit on that. So what was the driving moment that you were like, okay, I want to do a podcast with Danny and make this a thing officially?
Yeah, it's like returning to work, and I have an infant and multiple jobs, and just decided to spin up another podcast when I'm already on so many. I'm addicted to work, number one. Number two, there are so many stories that we share with each other that we really just wanted to keep sharing with more people. Danny and I got together in 2020, and so there are a lot of things that we shared with each other in the pandemic when we were in lockdown. And it's the foundation of our relationship is sharing and communicating, which is really great. But we constantly want to talk about these things with more people. And at the intersection of being new parents and, being primary caregivers with no childcare, because it's just Danny and I right now, and wanting to have time where we're still having conversations with each other as adults, as a couple, as partnership. This is such a great way for us to connect with people still when we're very much in baby bubble, and B, connect with each other, right? It's scheduled, dedicated time that we take each week to have a conversation that isn't about, appointments or schedules or bottles or onesies or whatever. And it's sort of a little island of us in the vast ocean of parenthood. And the tagline we came up with one of the people we've worked with to do our visuals, shout out to Saulo, is it's mom and dad finding nerd life balance. Because we still want to nerd out about all the things that brought us together, but we're also, incredibly invested and focused on bringing up a human being. And how do you balance that? And this is the answer. This was our answer. So the podcast is very special to me, to us. And there are some things that I explained in one of our first episodes about why we wanted to do this and why now. It's because I've had many times in my life when I experienced imposter syndrome, as we were just talking about, and feeling as though any thought I have is unoriginal. Like if I'm in a meeting and somebody says, what are we going to do to solve for X? I think of 4 different solutions, and I'm immediately silencing myself because I'm like, they'll all think of that too. It's so obvious. And I found through many years of experience that other people don't have the same solutions that I do. Other people don't have the same thoughts and ideas as I do. And when I voice them, the team is stronger, our product is stronger, our goals are met. And in order to do the things that I want to do, and in order to speak up for people who aren't in the rooms that I'm in, I got to talk more. Like, I just got to speak up. I got to let my thoughts be known because they're valuable. And I didn't believe that for a very long time. So this is a really important thing for us where I can speak my thoughts. I can say whatever I want. I can help choose the topics. I can guide the conversation, and we get feedback, and it fills me with so much energy. And I'm just in love with talking to people, honestly.
I love that. That's actually kind of emotional because it's such a really beautiful thing to to have to want to put yourself out there and to put your ideas and your love for just purely your love for gaming and what the industry is. And I feel like that's a point that so many people need to just soak in by osmosis because there is so much love for this industry. And I feel like even though the industry is huge, everyone knows everyone. So
yes.
The kindness, the amount of charitable nature that not only you and Danny have, but, you know, so many people in this industry want to bring to the table, it's not unseen. Like, you know, your work and what you're doing, it doesn't go unnoticed. So please just be reassured of that.
Well, thank you. We don't do it for recognition, but it is nice to know that it resonates for people because we just want to spread good vibes, man. Like, there's so much dark in the world. Like, can we turn on some lights, please?
Yeah, exactly. No, just be like Alan Wake and just carry a flashlight and just, like, beam it everywhere.
That game is so scary. I really enjoyed watching Danny play that from across the room.
It was so interesting because I went through and I'm just like, wait, where's the next thing? Where's the next thing? And, like, the thing jump scares me and I'm just like, let's do that again.
Yeah, that game is masterfully created and in beautiful execution. But oh god, they released allegedly released a less scary version or a patch where you can do a less jump scary mode. And I've considered playing it with that mode, but I feel like I'm still too scared. Like, I don't believe it.
It's just like Sam Lake is lying. Please don't.
It's like I feel like they're gonna sneak one in, like at the very end or something, just to be like, "Yeah, I gotcha."
It's so interesting too because it's like I was telling one of my friends I never really enjoyed the first Alan Wake that much. I feel like they relied too heavily on the Stephen King trope, and with this one, I was like, they found the perfect balance of like horror and Stephen King and all this kind of stuff that's going on. The storytelling with again psychology and everything of showcasing what actually a person goes through when they have depression is just masterfully done.
Yeah, no, man, that game deserves all of the accolades it's gotten, and oh my gosh, that dance scene.
It was so good. It was so good. Oh, so good. God, it makes like I saw the one at the Game Awards before I started playing the game. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that made me just feel so much more excited. It's like, hey, I know where that's from.
Such a banger too.
It really is. I should just like go up to randomly to people and just start dancing like that and see what happens.
And honestly, just the joy on Sam Lake's face, like performing that dance number, it was just like, oh, you live in your moment, Sam.
It's just so amazing. See, this is why I'll go look at the camera for this one. This is why we do what we do, because this is just awesome content. Okay. So, you know, for any of the hate comments that are going to come in, because I've gotten hate comments for the podcast I did with Khalif, the podcast I did with Danny and everything like that. And I just delete them. I'll save them, but I will delete them because I know people are petty and so am I. No, just joking. But, but just as a reminder for people who are commenting, please be mindful of the words you say. Be mindful of the choices that you make in what you type out, because if you type out something nasty, I will delete your comment. So just keep in mind of that. But one of the last topics I want to go into is Xbox and what you are excited to see coming from them, because I know we see a lot of changes right now in the ecosystem of Xbox for the better, I would say. So what are you looking forward to seeing from them in the future?
Ooh, this handheld, man.
Yes.
Woo, let's talk about this handheld. Okay, so I have most of the things, right? I have to for my job. So handheld gaming, I have a Steam Deck, I have a Switch, we have the ROG Ally, we do the Rishi for the phones. I stopped short of the PlayStation Portable. Is that what it is?
I think it's just PlayStation Portal, yeah.
Portal?
Yeah.
Because we play games out of the house, right? We're not on our Wi-Fi, we're not at home, we're not connected to our machine. So that one is quickly, the use case is completely lost on me because it's like I can't play that while I'm on the plane. This Xbox, there's so many games that I prefer to play on Xbox simply because I like the controller the best. It fits my hands the best. It's the one I grew up playing. It's just the most comfortable for me. PlayStation has a very incredible controller. DualSense and Dual Edge are wonderful. Great for you guys. It doesn't feel as comfortable in my hands. So when I'm presented with the possibility of having the Xbox controller feel, please, it has the Xbox controller feel while out of my house and like I'm in an airport or I'm at my mom's house or wherever. Well, my mom has an Xbox, but wherever I am, and I can play it like right there in my lap. That is literally all I want. I want all my Game Pass games. I want to be able to download them and play them natively on the system. I want to be able to plug in my headphones and just vibe out while I'm on the bus or in an Uber or whatever. And that library, the Xbox library that I have built over time, because we've just recently heard from Sarah Bond, they are committed to game preservation and forwards compatibility. I have so much more faith in these experiences than any other handheld. Like, we know the Switch and Nintendo will create false scarcity and will delist games and will just make it really hard to play their shit. And unfortunately, because it's such an incredible library, it's harder to access their games, and they make it so. There's no other handheld that I'm interested in more than this one, because the Steam library is wonderful. However, the Steam Deck has a lot of drawbacks that I think that Xbox can overcome, right? I think they can kill it on battery life. I do. I think they can figure out a form factor that isn't as hot or heavy. And if it's a streaming handheld, I'm going to be very disappointed, but I really do want it to also have the capability of playing games natively on the handheld console. But if I can also connect to the internet and get my Game Pass games and maybe even just download them from Game Pass, like, bruh, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for me. Like, I love their hardware. I love their games. So that's the biggest win for me personally, coming from Xbox, potentially, allegedly. But gosh darn it, they better be making it.
I hope so too.
Otherwise, I'm getting so excited for no reason at all.
That would be just so amazing, like you said, to have something natively that has all of the games that we love from Xbox on the go. Like for me, I don't travel as much currently, but to have something of where, like, if I'm in the car or like waiting for someone for a doctor's appointment or doing something, I want to be able to play Hellblade on the go. Like, that would be so incredible to be able to do that. But also, it's so interesting because hearing that podcast that Xbox came out with earlier this year, it really built my trust in them, seeing how they are just so incredibly devoted to the people who are playing their games. And that's one of the things that I respect about Xbox the most, I think. Because when we see kind of all of the hubbubaloo that happens in the industry, we see PlayStation and Xbox at the core of it. Nintendo is like just doing their thing over there. That's fine.
Always. They're always playing in the corner. And they're like, hey, I got a new Pokemon. You're like, yeah, we'll buy it 1,000 times.
Yeah, it's just like, even though they should just focus on something else for a little bit instead of Pokemon, but that's another story. But whenever it comes to PlayStation and Xbox at the core of what the big three are, I feel like Xbox is more, and I might get shit for saying this, but more fan-centric, and PlayStation is like the Apple of gaming right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, PlayStation believes that they know best, and Xbox has demonstrated that they listen to the audience.
Which it's so interesting to see the dichotomy between the two, because for me personally, you were talking about controllers and how the Xbox one fits your hands better. It's like, for me, the PlayStation one fits my hand a lot better. And that's so interesting to me, because it's like, for me, PlayStation is my favorite console, but I love the accessibility of Xbox. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things, like,
it's almost like people should have more than one choice.
I know, right? It's shocking.
Oh, Lord.
It's so weird to me, because then you see like all of the people who are talking about like console war this, console war that. It's like, maybe people just want to have multiple choices for what they want to play. I know. I know.
How about you get both?
Exactly. And you know what? I get that they're expensive. I do. I completely understand that. And I, have both in the Switch for work, obviously, but because I love playing games from multiple consoles. But it's one of those things of where, if people are going to bully others for their console choices, how about experience the console first and then make your decision on whether or not you want to say it's bad or good?
Yeah. Or just allow all of them to exist.
Exactly.
And then people can buy what they want and you can stay out of their business.
Exactly. And there was this one, I think it was either a TikTok or an Instagram video that I saw of where someone was drawing a circle. They were like, you see this circle? This is my business. You're here. Stay out of that
I know the one you're talking about. It's like, you are not in here. Oh, it's so true. People are so
lovely.
intrusive.
It's so wonderfully great to know that I can just, and again, this is going to sound so petty, but it's wonderfully great to know that I can log off of Twitter at any time and not see any of them come up on my feed like an NPC. Yeah. It's not there anymore.
Yeah, and it is lend itself to the conversation about building a strong circle, right? And having real human connections and real support. And those people can be, of course, in contact with you via the internet, obviously. Like, I'm in my house all day. Of course, that's how I talk to most of my friends all day. But to have real people to bounce ideas off of, to keep you in check, to let you know, like, hey, you're looking too far down this road. Like, you need to just calm it down. Like, it's not that serious. Or, you know what, actually, you might want to talk to somebody about that. Like people to check you and people who know you. So important in this day and age. Like, there's lots and lots of articles about younger generations being terminally online and the impact of social media on people's inner psyche and their perception of the world being so warped. It's like, just find real people to relate to, find real people to converse with, find real people to support you and to help you learn and grow in the way that you think is important. Because if you leave it up to the general public, it's not going to be a good result.
No, it's not. And it's so interesting you say that because I'm a part-time caretaker for my dad. So I currently live with my two parents right now. And my dad is turning 81 on the 15th. And my mom is going to be
happy birthday.
Yeah, my dad, thank you. And my mom is going to be 71 in May. So it's amazing to see life through their eyes as well, because you get another generation's perspective and also a healthier perspective too, because, you know, as parents, they try to advise and care and grow. And I feel like, you know, being able to be in that position of where, like you said, you know, being around people, understanding that you don't have to do it on your own. Like, none of this life journey thing, you never have to do it on your own. You're supposed to have people around you.
You are supposed to have people around you. Yes. As a human race, and coming all full circle back to the Fallout conversation, we thrive when we work together. We really do.
Exactly. So to leave it off on a very interesting, not interesting, no, more like just a happy-go-lucky note, what game are you playing right now that you would consider your personal cozy game?
Fortnite. Yeah, like, unironically, Fortnite. I just bought all of the Avatar, I just unlocked all of the Avatar core stuff in Fortnite. I bought the Zuko and Katara packs and Toph. And I am eagerly awaiting Aang. And yeah, I just absolutely love Avatar. I absolutely love Fortnite. I love that they had that back on 74 dance emote in Fortnite recently, because I've been obsessed with it thanks to TikTok and the British Awards, and watching that campaign come to life, and like their campaign, like, collaboration with Tyla and with The Gap, and literally just, like, it's everywhere right now. And, like, watching Darth Vader do the dance in the fucking lobby, it's just giving me so much joy. Like, Fortnite just, like, fills me with laughter and fun. I really love the mythology arc that they're on right now. It's just so cool. And I don't know. I just think that they do partnerships incredibly well. That team is 100% killing it. They're firing on all cylinders. They're taking this game into so many different directions. People joke about the metaverse, but truly, like, this is the version of it that I like, and I'm glad that they're successful, because I want to see more. I know we will see more, and everybody and their mom is trying to get a skin in Fortnite, including most of the clients that I work with. So have at it, you guys. Like, Epic, keep doing your thing. Keep treating your employees well, and making fun for us.
Yeah, and you know what I think is pretty cool, if they can get over a few thousand people, no, actually a few 100,000 people to watch a black hole on Twitch that is marketing right there. That is just like, it's wonderful to see their marketing team at work because they do the most epically bizarre things, no pun intended. And it's really cool to see them at work. And you know what? I'm not the biggest fan of Fallout, but I love the way Fallout. I'm not the biggest fan of Fortnite. Jesus Christ.
It's on the brain.
Do not cancel me. I swear to God, internet. But it's so cool to see the people at work and to see so many of the cool things that they're doing. So that's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to this Disney thing that's happening. I know people who are working on it. They have not told me anything, so I gotta wait. But it's so cool. And
I can tell you're not happy about that.
Yeah, we'll fight later. I'll see them later. But yeah, it's really, really awesome to see everything that's coming to that game and how it's touching so many different communities. And they've managed to make it a safe space and a joyful space for people who want to feel seen and want to celebrate and want to, you know, build little huts and shoot at each other. I love that.
I love it so much. And you know what, actually, interestingly enough, my personal cozy game that I keep going back to, keep loving, Elden Ring. It's just,
hey, if that's your comfort game, it's your comfort game.
Yeah, and like with the DLC coming out in June, oh my God, I'm so ready.
Yeah, people are so hyped for that. It's so funny. I hear folks talk about, because, you know, I have a lot of friends in the industry and people who play games for a living, and they all talk about, like, I don't know how I'm going to get back into Elden Ring fighting shape in order to play the DLC, because those skills go away when you don't nurture them. They really do. I'm not going to lie. We did one more story. We did guess how many controllers are in our house at our baby shower, because, you know, guess the number of crackers in the jar. That's not us. So we did guess the number of controllers in our house that we have to hide from the baby, and we got up to 56, and I think there were still more that we missed.
Oh my gosh, that's actually pretty. That's gnarly.
A lot of controllers. I love control. I'm literally looking at a tower of controllers here. It is a habit.
You see, here,
and always
here
get
I
sent
am
a lot.
with, like, my 3 controllers primarily.
Oh yeah, I can't even remember a time when I had 3 controllers.
No, yeah, because I only have one for the PlayStation, one for the Xbox, and then an extra one for the Nintendo Switch, like one of the kitty cat controller things that they sell.
Oh yeah, those are cute.
Yeah, those are adorable. But no, I absolutely love controllers too, because anytime I see like skins and stuff, I think, oh, that would look nice. That would look really cool.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, there's some really great controller designs out there from all kinds of things. Maybe one day I'll do a little video showing off all of them, but it's a lot.
Nice. That'd be nice. I feel like that would itch like the best part in everyone's brain, just to see like all of like the little controller sounds. ASMR controller, ASMR.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I like ASMR content. I should probably do that. And I got nails, so I can make it fun.
Yes, all the Xbox tippity tappities.
Oh, I don't know if I showed this on your show yet, but to round it all out, speaking of Ori and controllers, I do have this is for the dev team specifically, and there's some nice sounds.
Yes, all the tippity tappities.
Textures on it. But yeah, that's from Will of the Wisps.
It's just so beautiful.
Ori Xbox controller.
Like, I love whenever, you know, devs get sent stuff like that, and especially like a lot of the marketing team and everybody gets sent like beautiful gifts like that, because it's just like, hey, you helped us on their game. Here's just like a memorable piece. It's like,
yeah, they matter. They matter. Taking a piece of everything that I've worked on along the journey with me has been really rewarding, and it's a nice reminder of all of the hard work and really special people that I've been able to collaborate with over the years. And to your point, you know, this is a very small industry. People know each other, and there's a lot of really wonderful folks who make games, and it shows in the products that they release. So I hope people enjoy them, and I hope people can be kind and communicative about it, because that's what we're here to do. That's what we want.
Yeah, exactly. All we want to do is to talk about stuff, make cool shit, and, you know, be able to be excited about the stuff that we make. That's
exactly.
So, but on that note, you guys, I just want to say another shout out to Riana. Thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you for reaching out. This was so much fun.
Of course, of course. And if you guys like our faces and what we do, please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell down below. I make videos every weekday here on YouTube. May you find your worth in the waking world, dear hunter. Stay casually nerdy, and I will see you all in the next video. Umbasa.